Justin is with us in Roanoke, Virginia. Hi, Justin. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
That's right. I got on the Dave Ramsey Show. I called in, I got through, and I got to ask my question about refinancing. And that's what I'm here to provide for you today, some information around refinancing in 2021. And does it make sense for you? I'm going to help give you a very clear equation to kind of understand how refinancing works, when it is a good idea, and just different ways to kind of navigate something that can be so huge as refinancing your home. So let's go ahead and get to the video. So let's just clarify here. I called in and I asked Dave Ramsey, since my wife and I have paid off so much credit card debt, our credit scores have shot up and gone higher. So I was asking, should I refinance with a higher credit score now? And here's what he had to say.
Sure. Yeah, there's two ways to get a loan, a high credit score or no credit score. Being in the middle is not a good thing. Low credit score is not a good thing. So, in terms of getting a loan, that's simple issue. So, I would go ahead and do that if you're going to stay in the house. What's your loan balance?
And so as you can see, he is an approval. And so, but you did notice he asked one quick question there at the end. What is the balance of your loan? And I'm going to get in that into a second, but I also wanted to post again another part of what he had said before I start breaking down all the numbers. And so check this clip out as well.
And of course, fixed rate only, 15-year only is the only thing we consider in these cases.
What's the time, Dave, that you give to pay yourself back for a refi, the closing costs?
You should recoup your interest savings, should pay your closing costs back within a couple of years.
All right, so you saw there that Dave very clearly only recommends a 15-year fixed rate mortgage. And he also kind of got into a little bit of the logic that I want to help you understand now. And the primary purpose of this video for figuring out if you should refinance your mortgage in 2021. And so he asked me the first question at the end of the first clip. What do you owe? What is the balance on your loan? So that's important to understand because the amount that you owe will directly play into calculating the interest savings that you could see with a refinance. So the only reason you would want to refinance is to lower your terms as far as how many years and lower your interest rate. If you cannot do at least the interest rate getting down and even considering getting it down to that 15-year mark, you probably shouldn't consider doing a refinance. But if you go to your banker like I did and find out you can get your loan from a 4% loan down to a 2% loan and from a 20-year down to a 15, which is my specific scenario. Maybe you can go from a 30 to a 15-year. Either way, it works. And so I just want to kind of give you the equation. The amount owed, like Dave Ramsey asked me, multiplied times the new lower interest rate, or the difference between the interest rate, I should say more specifically. Loan amount times the difference in the interest rate. So let's just throw a number of $200,000 out there. If you owe $200,000 on your home and you save 2% by refinancing, going from 4 to 2, like I did, that would be a rough savings of $4,000 per year. Divide that by 12 months, you're looking at a $333 per month saving. That's pretty huge. And so what you do is you take that $333 now, your amount owed times the difference between your old interest payment and your new one, and then take that number and then take your closing costs and divide the closing cost by that number of your interest savings. So I hope that makes sense for you. You calculate your interest savings per month, which was $333 for me, and then take your closing cost that you get from your banker. Again, you're gonna have to file paperwork and do all that official stuff. There's no real easy way to kind of calculate this. You can guesstimate your closing costs, like mine are around $5,000. And so $5,000 divided by what my number would be is $333 savings per month, plus the $70 in PMI. So again, these are deeper numbers here, but just to understand PMI, private mortgage insurance, if you don't own at least 20% of the value of your home, you have to have private mortgage insurance, otherwise known as PMI. I happen to have that on my loan. On the new loan, I won't have that on there. So that's $70 a month. So if you did the math in your head correctly, I'm now at a number of $400 a month in savings. So I take my closing costs, divided by my $400 a month in savings. So that's $5,000 divided by $400, and that gives me 12.5. And that is my magic break-even number, 12.5 months to pay back the closing costs on my loan and be back to even where I started when I refinanced the home in the first place. So that can be a little overwhelming to understand, but if you can get that number down to less than 24 months, as Dave Ramsey recommended, because you don't want to be stuck in this forever. The problem that you could get caught in is that you go to refinance your home, you can only save 0.5%. And then all of a sudden, the $5,000 closing costs that are not going to change into the same, and you're only saving 0.5%, it's going to take you 5 or 6 or 7 years to break even to get the money back that you just added to your mortgage by refinancing and the closing costs. That wouldn't make sense, and you should not refinance in 2021 if you are only going to save. Hey guys, so I realized right here that I used the wrong percentage. I said if you're only going to save a couple percent, which is wrong. If you can save a couple percent, that is great. I meant to say if you can only save a fraction of a percent, it does not make sense to refinance. And then I get back into a little bit more about my specific situation. But in my scenario, and the scenario that I just talked through, saving 2% from a 4% loan to a 2% loan brought me to a 12.5 month break even point where I am out of the hole of the closing costs that I added to my mortgage in that short period of time. And that's so beneficial. And to help you understand how beneficial that is and the impact of this, on a $200,000 loan at 4% for 20 years, my old mortgage, I would have been paying $290,000 for my house when it was all said and done. $290,000. Remember that. Just going down and refinancing, I took a $200,000 mortgage. Well, that's not my specific number, but you get the point. $200,000 at 2% for 15 years goes all the way down to $231,000. That's a $60,000 savings over the span of the loan, and it's 5 less years of making payments to the mortgage company. And guess what? Believe it or not, with the savings that I calculated with $333 a month in interest and $70 in PMI a month, that $400 total, you know what that did? That actually decreased my mortgage payment to go to a 15-year loan. That's right. I'm going to be paying $100 less a month for that new loan, which is just mind-blowing. So I hope these numbers help you. I hope you can kind of like rewind the video, make the little equations to understand each part of your interest, and if you have PMI, and learning how to subtract that out. And I hope it makes sense for you to refinance this year, because it can be drastically helpful when it comes to paying down your loan. Now, if you felt like this video benefited you at all, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I hope to be making plenty more financial videos in the future. And I just want to be able to be a resource to help you. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments. I'd love to help out. If you have any objections to anything I'm saying, absolutely throw those in the comments as well. I'd love to engage in a conversation with you. Either way, thank you so much for stopping by, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos.